on Zoom. BB. All right, let's roll. We're about to get on. Hold on. I just make it. Yo.
Hey.
Hold on. Let me see. Yo, you can see me?
Yep.
It's probably like a delay. It's like a delay, right?
No, not for me.
For me, I don't know why I see a delay.
No, it's fine on my end. I hear it on your end, but it's fine on my end.
I don't know why. All right, man. Sammy BE. Let's see who's on here real quick. I just want to. I gotta. All right, yeah, I can see. How do people? I can't see. No, I don't see anybody. You can see on your end?
No, not me. No, because I'm on Zoom. I'm not on.
Yeah, I think you got to focus on the Zoom, right?
Yeah, because I don't think you can see it on. You can't see YouTube on here. I don't think, like their comments and stuff. I don't think so.
But so how do? How do you see? You can't see it.
Unless maybe you could go on another tab on your laptop and try to log into YouTube and click on your own live. You probably would just have to mute it so that we're not hearing the feedback.
Could you? Yes, I'm trying to see. Hold on, I got my friend on the other line trying to see what's going on.
Okay.
Hold on. I hear echo as well. I don't know what's wrong. People who are on here, say something. Hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second.
In the meantime, I'm also gonna try to go on YouTube on mine and see.
Yeah, let me see your channel. It's just saying one person. Delay, but my friend was saying that's gonna be a delay.
Yeah. Let me see. I gotta refresh.
I see people coming on now.
Okay. I'm still trying to get to your live. Okay, there we go. It's loading.
Well, why am I here?
Yep, there we go. You have one person watching right now.
It's a delay because I have on my end I see 3. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to.
Yeah, now I see 3. When you click on it, you see 3. Okay.
Yeah, I think we gotta focus on. We gotta focus. All right, sure. All right, let's see what's going on because I don't know exactly. I hear echo on my. I don't know if that's my end or that is my end. People,
okay.
people on the live, if y'all can hear echo, please type in the chat box as we get started. Is there echo on that end? Type in the chat box. Let's get it going. People in the chat box. Let me see.
Hi, Ted. I see someone named Ted commented.
Ted, do you hear echo on your end, Ted? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. So now that I'm looking at the live on YouTube, I do see that it's like, it's not like delayed. It's more like whatever we say, like a few seconds later, that's when it'll happen on YouTube. Hey, thank you, Ted. Okay, Ted says there's no echo. Let's go. All right.
Yeah, what's up, my peoples? Yo, we finally out here. Sammy BE live sessions. I'm Sammy BE along with. All right. All right. So I'm hearing echo on my end. I don't know, but I'm hearing echo on my end. But anyway, let's keep it going. Ayana, along with my co-host Ayana, Sammy BE. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
All right, so we just focused on technical difficulties, my people. So let's talk about it, man. And I'm glad to be here. This is Sammy BE live sessions. Been promoting it. We're gonna do more live. This is like a test run. See what everybody's doing. Let's Anna. Mute your joint.
My laptop?
No, mute your live.
All right.
I mean, they actually. Oh no. You're good. All right, so we good. Okay. All right, so I know. So you gotta actually mute. You gotta mute the YouTube side of it. You understand? To get it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm trying to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Someone keeps trying to call me.
Got you.
Okay, we're all good now.
Yeah. All right. So pretty much, what's up, my peoples? All right, we got the technical difficulties handled. We're gonna be working through that as we expand. I'm Sammy BE, your host, along with my co-host Yana, Precure. Haitian as she want to be. We out here just discussing different things. What we are medium that discusses what's going on in the world. We focus on business, economics, economy, finance, business. As you know, my whole platform is about the economy, about finance, business, financial wealth, putting it back into community-based incentives, minority, majority, and just coming from that angle, where it's not over your head, maybe just a little bit over your head, but you can still reel it in. And then I brought my host, have a female perspective because we in the cancel culture and Me Too and Time's Up and everything like that, and type of thing that's going on in the world, pandemic type of thing. So I have the lovely business-minded individual. And she come in and bring her womanly perspectives about business, and hopefully it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have different guests on here. Collectively, it's gonna be signifying, and we want you guys to come on. You can check out our social media. Mine is I have Instagram and Twitter, EcoFire TV, ECOFIRE TV, along with the YouTube, which is streaming right now. And Yana, you want to speak on your social media?
Yeah, sure thing. You could find me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram. I have Snapchat. And of course, I also have a YouTube channel. And you can find me on all of those at SourPatchKeedx3. So it's Sour Patch Kid with 2 E's and then X3. So that's it.
Yeah. All right. So what we're gonna be talking about, what's going on in the world, on the business side. As you know, slowly but surely, the economy's slowly picking up in different states. Different states are beginning to hire again. People are going back to work, and things are slowly but surely picking up. But there's also been increases of the COVID-19 coronavirus cases going around in certain states. And Anna and I know, because in the Northeast, we're in, I guess they said, phase 3 of what's going on. But other states like Texas, Florida, Oklahoma, and a couple other states have actually, their phases have been pushed back because of the increases. So I wanted to kind of talk about what's going on in regards to how the pandemic has affect people's pockets, because I'm trying to be nosy and see how everybody's eating out there. So Anna, like, what do you think about this whole thing? What's going on, with the COVID-19 reappearing after it was subdued, and people just wilding out. Our generation, millennials and Generation Z, just acting wild, and now they have it, and now people gonna be out of work again. So what do you think about what's going on?
Honestly, with human nature, I feel like it's something, honestly, no disrespect, I feel like it's something that was bound to happen. Like the state I live in, it's something I see all the time with people out there, no mask, no gloves, no protection, no nothing. Matter of fact, a restaurant opened up near me and they threw a party during the pandemic, and there was a line literally a couple of blocks out, and the whole place was full. There was no social distancing. There was a lot of children with no mask, and that's what pissed me off the most. It was to the point where I had to walk in the middle of the street to avoid the crowd. Personally, I'm very high risk because of my health, so I try not to go out as much. But even with the riots that was going on, with the racial situation going on out there, I know a lot of people who are not protecting themselves. So I feel like not everybody is listening to the guidelines, because a lot of people still believe that is some sort of conspiracy theory. And believing in conspiracy theory, meanwhile you're seeing what's really happening. Myself personally, I lost a bunch of people through the pandemic, and that's just given me the initiative to take care of myself, making sure like myself and my family is okay. But not everybody out there thinks that. Like I went to a store the other day, and someone tried to hand me something and I wasn't comfortable reaching out for it, and he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it, this is all fake news, nothing is happening." Meanwhile, I've had to bury people from the pandemic. Even before it was put out there, I already had people dying from it. The first person in my family that passed from it was because he got it, and they were trying to experiment with the vaccines to see if it would work, and it instantly killed him. So it's like people are not listening, and we live in a culture where everybody do what they want. And especially with the president we have right now, a lot of people are against him. If him or somebody on his team says something, everybody's like, well, why should we care? We don't like you. So that's my point of view. And as far as finances, it's been really ridiculous the way this has been going. Like, I've had so many friends that you know, they're like, hey, we're going to be closing for a little bit. And then next thing you know, like, I don't know if you've heard about this, but I've had a lot of friends that have been posting statuses about the fact that within 2 weeks of them saying, okay, we're going to close down because of quarantine, then they get a, you know, video chat from their boss, and it's just like, hey, you're fired. Click. That's it. No questions as to why, nothing like that. And now everyone is being pushed to go to unemployment, you know? So it's like, now
So
everybody is relying on the government now to help with the stimulus check, unemployment, and whatever else anybody can get.
what do you think about that as far as, you know, people being furloughed or laid off? And I guess, I mean, you know, I mean, that's, you know, if you got to eat, you have to figure out ways how to get the money to eat, right? So them applying for unemployment, you know, is a short term thing, right? Because I think only 26 weeks the government is giving people max, which is still a lot. You know, I know it's 26 because they extended it. I think they extended. I'm not sure, but there's people who are definitely uh, prone having to take it. You know, this even more so about the unemployment. You know, the government is giving an extra $600, which I think at the end of this month it finishes. So you know, you have people who were taking unemployment; they were getting like $1,000 a week, you know, until the end of this month, and they're not getting that anymore. And that was just a big factor. I mean, what do you think about that? Like all that extra money that the government was giving, you know, because people were using the regular state unemployment, they wouldn't even get $200 if they were lucky. You know what I mean? And then they get $600, you know, good $800 to $1,000. That's not bad, you know. But what you think people are being are being are they using it the right way, or are they just kind of like splurging on it and not thinking about
Oh, definitely. I think people have been splurging a little too much. You know, like when we first met, I was explaining to you that I run a Facebook group that help businesses grow. And as admins, we put out a status and we were like, hey, what are you guys, you know, planning to do on your with your stimulus check? What are you planning to do with all this money that the government is giving away now? And everybody's talking about, you know, Gucci, they're talking about going shopping, they're talking about splurging online. Meanwhile, especially as a business owner, even not just a business owner, a regular day-to-day person, invest that into yourself, invest that into, you know, your business if you have one, invest it towards your bills, because at the end of the day, everybody's thinking like right now, you know, we're living rent free, but it's not really free. They're just giving us a break to pile up whatever we can so that once this is over, we have to pay that money back. And honestly, the whole thing with the government giving money, it's still not as, you know, amazing as you think it is, because honestly, I have people who've applied since the beginning when they announced that they're doing these unemployments that still haven't gotten it. You know, like people are still struggling out there to get it. The only thing that people have been really able to get on the spot is if you're applying for food stamps. And that's another thing that we now have to deal with on the financial end. Personally, I'll put myself on the spot. I am on food stamps, and they actually cut my money by more than half to supposedly pay my rent. Meanwhile, I'm still getting letters in the mail saying that my rent is not being paid. So why is the government taking my money? You know, myself and my son are on my plan. So why is the government taking my money, saying you're going to pay my rent with it and you're going to cut down on the food I'm putting on my table, but my rent is still not being paid? Where is my money going? You know? And not everybody qualify for all these and that's the other thing too that was confusing to me. It's not just unemployment. There's unemployment for regular people, and then there's pandemic unemployment. There's a big difference between the two. Anybody could apply for a pandemic unemployment, whether you're working or not.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
let me ask you this. You know, because you speak about you know, people being having to, I guess, attain certain. I mean, it's kind of like a do or die, right? You need the stuff to survive, but at the same time, people are taking advantage of it. Like how do you feel like people should maneuver going forward? You know what I mean? You know, you talked about your own situation, but you know, people probably have greater or not as greater situations than what you have, you know?
Um, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Someone was at my door.
Yeah, definitely. You
Okay, I'm
know,
sorry. That kind of distracted me. Would you mind repeating that again one more time?
yeah. So everybody's going through some type of hardship, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's people who are taking advantages of that hardship, And so, what do you think about like those people who are taking advantage and are not able to hold their own weight when other people are unnecessarily trying to? There's been a lot of scams out there too with all this
Yes.
pandemic stuff and unemployment stuff, and people are really out here really not getting their bread. You know what I mean? Really
Mm-hmm.
struggling, asking their mommy and daddy, and their mama and dad don't even got it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They really, it's tight. Some food pantry lines
Um,
on the corner. Crazy.
yeah. It's crazy. I have witnessed some of that. Like when the pandemic first broke out, my neighborhood was giving away food for people who are really in need. And I literally had this woman in line that was like, "Oh, I don't even need none of this. I'm only here because why not?" And it got to a point where I had to get aggravated and tell her, like, "Listen, like there are people who need this. If you don't need it, go home." But also when it comes to money, like earlier I was speaking to a friend about the I think it's called the PPP, like the paycheck something loan. Hold on, I had the
Yeah,
name
yeah.
written somewhere on here. Yeah, the
No, we
paycheck
know.
protector.
Right.
So apparently that's been the biggest scam that's going on right now, because a company can go out there and ask for a loan to pay their employees, meanwhile you already fired them. Like there's a lot of scams going on. There's a lot. My phone has been blowing up nonstop with, people telling me like, "Hey, we can get you $1,000 for this." And it's like, it's always around when something big is going on, that somebody's always out there with something to offer that you're never really going to get, you know?
Right. No,
So yeah, mhm,
it's kind of bad. I mean, so
mhm.
what do you think people? What's the answer? What's the solutions for all of this, man? Because if I was, trying to struggle and I have to, if I have my kids and wifey and all that, man, I might want to just go after, go in the bank or something and do something. You know what I mean? I'm not saying anything, but I might have to get that bread. Like, you know what I mean? It's really,
Mhm,
you know
mhm.
what I mean? It's really rough.
Um, honestly, my advice lately has been to find something online, because especially if you're gonna get into like businesses and stuff, there's money for everybody out there. Everybody is doing, even if the next person is doing the same thing as you, it's your personality that matters. It's how you reach out to people that matters. So if like I always suggest Amazon Mechanical Turk, because that's a website where you could work however long you want, whenever you want, wherever you want, and it's passive income. Like I'm all about passive income. And Amazon Turk has been my biggest thing right now. I know it doesn't like give you hundreds a week unless you really go in, but I feel like people need to look into working for themselves, like especially the Black community. I was hearing this woman talking about how, during this pandemic, she feels like, people of color are coming out more. We're out there, we're taking over because, like for example, nail salons are owned by Asians. Now we have, a bunch of Black people who have the skills that are coming out. They're doing mobile work. They're like, use your skills and use your abilities, use what you've earned, what you've learned, because again, not everybody goes to college, not everybody is into college. So whatever skill you have can be put into a business. Like myself, I know I love to, do makeup, do hair and stuff like that. I started a YouTube channel. So I feel like that's how people would be able to get out of being scammed, out of, trying to do certain things for certain people and then not getting anything back. Or if you lose your job thinking you're going to go back and then nothing happens. Like a lot of people have gotten laid off, and now people are looking into, investing in themselves, which is always a positive.
Yeah, that's real. Definitely, I'm definitely for self entrepreneurship and
Mm-hmm.
people doing their own thing. Now that kind of just segued me into the Black community, man.
Mm-hmm.
We Black, we not white. You see colors, you know what I mean. You're lighter than me, it's all good. But let's talk about that. You know what I mean. What do you think? How has the Black community, African American community, have suffered through this pandemic, and what do you think that we as a people need to do to be more, toward, and not like a crab in a barrel mentality, but more of a united front, economic front, prosperable front, and all of this. What do you think that needs to exactly happen?
Actually, believe it or not, this is exactly why I started my Facebook group to help businesses grow. We wanted to have, I mean, of course, we accept other races. That's no problem at all. But our group is mostly, we're at least 98% color. So that was my whole plan, was to help somebody feel like, okay, I can see all these people succeeding in what they're doing. So now it's my turn to do what I need to do. It was to give them the confidence to get out of their own shell and put themselves out there. Even myself personally, last week, I just opened, my own beauty supply store online. And it was something that I was expecting would take me years to do. But it literally took me 2 weeks of sitting down and meeting the right people, which, if you're okay with it, I don't mind giving you the link to that group. That way, anybody who's interested could click on it. But the thing is, that group is for females only at the moment. We are a really big group. We're thinking about opening, like a sister group for men, but especially Black women, we suffer the most when it comes to anything. Like, nobody really wants to look at us, because when they look at us, especially with like the music industry, they're seeing, the Black community just like to do ratchet things, but that's not true. We like to do business things too. We like to step up. We like you to see what we have to offer, because just like any other race could do it, we could do it too. And I've been hearing a lot lately that the Caucasian community has more opportunities. They have more, resources that we don't have. And it's true. I've seen it really happen, because again, in the group, I've had my Caucasian members posting like, hey, we're not supposed to be telling y'all this, but if you want to get into this type of business, we're letting you in on the tea. You know what I mean? So it's like, we need to come together, like, as a whole community, and stop with the hatred. That's the other thing, especially with Black women. Like, there's a lot of jealousy. If somebody's doing well, to your face, they're telling you, oh my God, you're amazing, can't wait to support you. And then behind your back, it's something completely different. Like, I can't deal with people like that. If I'm going to tell you I'm supporting you for good. And that's the mentality that our community needs to get into. Just because somebody's successful doesn't mean you can't be successful too.
Right.
You know what I'm
I think
saying? Cause
I think you bring a lot of positive points. I mean, as far as people, it needs to be more unity going forward, especially in business. No one can really do it on their own. Definitely, bringing touching some points. One thing I wanted to kind of put into perspective. What ideas, collectively, do you think people, especially minorities, people of color, Black and brown people, and just minorities, can do to actually try to overcome the stigmatization that's plaguing them as a whole? What I mean, to be prosperous, because a lot of people will say, oh, that if the hope is not there, or certain things. You live in certain communities, people are not really able to attain that type of prosperity, if that's the proper word. What do you think conceptually that our leaders and everybody coming together and, collectively, to bring what ideas and concepts you think that we could establish to kind of get more people in the fold? Because there's people out there who have great ideas, but they just don't want to come because the hope is not there.
I'm actually really happy you brought this question up, because I wanted to do a video on this. The number one thing we can do to help ourselves with this is letting go of slave mentality. And this is what I mean by that. Personally, I've grown up in different parts of the world, but especially when growing up in Haiti, I've realized we all, as a Black community, no matter what country you go through, like, we all suffer from slave mentality. And what that is like clearly back in slavery days, we had to always have somebody telling us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It's even to the point where, you know, the Black community were whipping our children. Like, that's some stuff they used to do to slaves. We're not supposed to be beating our children. We're supposed to be educating them on certain things.
But wait,
So
hold on. But some people will say that it's constructive discipline, you know, and I'm just playing devil advocate. I don't believe in beating, you know. But some people will say that doing that and reinforces one, discipline, two, some type of authority for people to be listening, for the young kids to listen to the elders, and respect amongst generational adults, you know. So once a kid, and not forcefully beating them, but you know, something where it just ignites, you know, those criteria that I mentioned: discipline, respect, and then also order, organization, focus. What do you think about that? Those arguments, because some people have been able to be, you know, I've been beaten pretty damn bad. You know what I mean? But still came out
me
pretty
included.
good. You know?
Me included.
We've all had the metal bat.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not the metal bat, but you know.
We got like the whip, the belt, the sandal, like all of it. We went down that road. But no, honestly, still,
you know,
even everything you've mentioned, it is still within the slave mentality. Like, there's no reason why a child doesn't understand things on the same level that we do. If a child is doing, like, I'm a mother. If my son doesn't understand what I'm saying to him, I will sit him down and explain it. I'm not going to grab something and beat him into submission. That is, again, slavery mentality. You're able to talk to a child. You know what I mean? And then another thing I've realized is, again, like I said, I've gotten my ass beat when I was younger too, but it didn't make me stop what I was doing.
We all have. You know.
Exactly, but it didn't make me stop. It just made me do it behind my parents' back. That's it. You're just not gonna find out. So again, you know, all these things, like, it's what we need to let go of and start thinking of a way of everybody, no matter what age you are, we are all equal. And I know there's this whole thing going on with Black Lives Matter right now. Of course, I'm not about to say, you know, all lives matter. No, but I'm saying you respect me, I respect you. If you're younger than me and you don't understand, I will explain it to you. Like, as a community, if we could work that way instead, it would be so much better. And then there's not going to be this hate between, you know, and then, like, you know, it could even go as far as ending Black on Black crimes. You know what I mean? Just being able to have an understanding, like, okay, we're living our own lives and I don't need to have a gun to your head for you to do something. I don't need to flip out on you for you to do something. I don't need to beat you for you to get something, you know? And like, that would bring up more of positive emotions within you. And that will give you the courage you need to get out there and do what you need to do. And like, I'm a firm believer in affirmations. I do affirmations every single day. I do scripting every single day. And if you guys don't understand, if you guys that are watching don't understand what affirmations or scripting are, affirmations is pretty much listening to positive words, you know, repeatedly, and, you know, actually believing that you are living that life. And scripting is the same thing, except you're writing it down. So I'm a firm believer in that. And believe me when I tell you, if you go through my scripting journal, you will see that I'm always writing that our community is rising up. If I'm good, my friends have to be good. My community have to be good. You know, like, I just want to see that change. But until we get out of slave mentality, how is that going to happen? And I didn't even know I was living with slave mentality until I had my own child. And I sat down and I forced myself to literally remember all the things that my parents and grandparents did that made me feel like my emotions were being shut down, that made me feel like, you know, my ego was being erased out of me. And then I sat there and I was like, you know what? I can't live like this because I'm being imprisoned to a mentality that has ended however long ago. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so you felt like, so is it like a neglect, like neglect type thing,
not
or what you saying?
neglect.
You know what I mean? In prison? Nah. What would you say? How do you express what you feeling? How do you express that?
Like, honestly, like, an example I could use, I remember when I was getting ready to go to college after I graduated, I wanted to actually be a singer, and I wanted to go to a specific school. And when I went to my parents, they were like, so you mean to tell me you can't sing? Like, it made me feel like crap. And then I was like, okay, I'm into graphic designs, I'm gonna do that. And they're like, well, in like 4 years, machines are gonna replace you and you're gonna be jobless. Is that what you really want? So it's like everything I wanted to do was being pushed down because none of my parents went to college. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I wanted to go to college and they couldn't support that.
Right.
So it made me feel like I would have been so much further in life if I had just listened to myself and didn't listen to their slave mentality to put myself out there more. And I really felt destroyed. I felt like, my rights were being stripped from me. My wants were being stripped from me. And there's nothing worse than when you want something and you can't have it. Like you could see it, you could see everybody living it. And then there's you just there with regret.
Now,
You see what I mean?
Okay, so all right, you brought up a couple, you brought up a fucking mad good points, but the point that you made, that saying that your parents, so you didn't want to go that direction, right? But you felt like no one was really adhering to what you wanted to do, so you kind of flipped it and did it your way. But as a young mature woman now, do you find yourself kind of going into your own, as far as what life is throwing at you, and from what differentiated yourself from your parents? I feel like every generation has their own. Like you said, you live on your own, you're doing everything, you have your own kid, and you have your own ways of doing the things that you want to do. What do you think? I mean, we all have to go through life lessons, but how are you kind of delving to kind of find your own, Ayana own identity?
Honestly, I didn't, believe it or not, I am turning 26 in 2 weeks, and I did not find myself until about February of last year. And that's crazy to say because I was so busy listening to what everybody else wanted me to do. But then one day it was like, enough is enough. And ever since, I literally took about a year to work strictly on myself, my inner fears. And I found that once I was done, that's when things really started to blow up for me because honestly, I started my YouTube channel like right when I was done working on one section of myself. And everybody was like, you speak so well about certain things. Why don't you start a channel? So I was like, you know what? That makes sense. And I got myself ready and did it. I did not go to anybody else for their opinion. I did not ask anybody for permission. At that point, I was like, okay, this is me. This is my life. And it's funny because I'm getting opportunities now that I would have never gotten before. Like before I started doing YouTube, I was so depressed to the point where I was on medication. I was seeing a therapist every week. I was doing all of this. And then as soon as I started to find myself, like literally, after I put my first video up, within 2 weeks, I went from 2 subscribers to 100. Like that's how crazy it was. And my first video wasn't even that great. It really wasn't. And it was like, as soon as I got in front of the camera, I started to feel like I'm living again. Well, not even living again. Like I felt like I was living for the first time. So my main things to go to is affirmations and scripting. Those things I really believe in. I'm a highly spiritual person, so I'm always doing research on what natural thing can I do for myself. So I have been feeling a lot better. I'm happy to say my depression is gone completely.
Yeah, that's gonna be another episode, another live. Where we talk about like the mental health issues and what people are going through. And just the stresses on YouTube and being on certain social media lives that people need to maintain and people watching. We just starting this, so we're gonna it's definitely gonna be a snowball effect. We want everybody to stay with us to see what it is, of course. But yeah, I think you're bringing up great points, and I mean, this is what this is about, man. The live sessions is really kind of like therapeutic, and just to get things off your chest as we get more people on, and trying to see what it is, man. And I don't know. I mean, damn, we kind of like talked about everything. We ain't really, we were supposed to speak about how much you got in your bank account and stuff. You didn't really talk about that, you know what I mean? But I I think this is like a good foundation, and then we can build off this and see what it. What else do I want to speak about? Oh, okay. What do you think? Let's talk about the economy coming up. Do you think it's going to get back to where it was pre-March, pre-pandemic, or like we're screwed?
We're screwed. In my opinion, depending on how people have been using that money they're getting, depending on how, if you're investing it and taking care of your bills instead of not paying your rent, if you're investing in your business to make sure you have your inventory ready, if you're doing all of that, okay, boo-boo, you good, you on the right track. But if you done and went and spent all that stimulus money on, something you ain't even need, and once that time come and landlords start asking for money, like, people will be getting evicted. People will get evicted, your utilities will be going off, and I don't think Trump is gonna pass another, like, a third stimulus.
No,
okay, like,
but no. But they, I was just reading something like in New York, a lot of landlords is reducing the rent because people can't afford. You know what I mean? First of all, a lot of people moved out of the city. They in Long Island or wherever they're at, suburbs, because of what happened with the pandemic. And then two, because of unemployment, people are like, yo, listen, I can't pay this $1,000 a week rent. You know what I mean? Who gonna pay $1,000 a week, man? I'm barely even getting $100. So people now are trying to pay that, and they're not trying to come out their pocket. And this whole thing where people wanted, the stimulus was to save money. To spend money. Well, people saving that motherfucker for rainy days. Now they not spending that money. They want to spend it as long as possible. It was like free money, all this extra money people are just holding, and that notion too. Like I said, the extra $600. I know people was getting weekly unemployment, man, and they think they ain't never going back to work, man. They can, the getting weekly, start their own businesses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Online, so it's a whole different. We're in a whole different thing, man. I just think even if it goes back to normal, whatever that's going to be, people are not going to want to go back to normal. You know what I mean? This was like a reset. People
exactly, yeah. Because like I feel like nobody wants to, go back to it. Like, how comfortable we done gotten at having to go to that 9 to 5 every day. Like, come on now.
Especially
like
me.
Everybody want to be on their couch now. Like
I've been real comfortable doing this whole pandemic. You know what I mean? And like you said, it's been able to bring up new opportunities like home-based businesses, like people on YouTube, more social media, and podcasting. People like in the comfort of their own home. You know what I mean? Little cute section with a laptop and a camera, like myself. You know what I mean? And they can blast it to the world. It's not even in there. It goes to the community, neighborhood, state, country, whatever. It's just global, and that's the good thing about technology and where it's headed is that now I think people really analyzing them like, yo, listen, I'm not gonna be giving myself 40 years or 20 years to a job. I'm gonna create my own opportunities, and that's what, in my opinion, the American dream is about.
Yeah, that's where the money's at.
I say create your own opportunities, man. Yeah, man. I think we bored everybody enough. Like let me see who I got here. I got Lucy.
Oh, we got a lot of people now.
A couple people.
Is it? We got 4 now.
Yeah, we had in the beginning because we messed up, freaking not knowing how to do this freaking live-ish. I don't want to curse, but like we had like 8 people like in the beginning, and then because I don't know, because my thing is all messed up. But now we got it under chat. We're gonna just keep hitting people, bring people out, spread the word. I got my girl Anna. She's gonna be. I got other guests coming on. We're gonna start bringing this. We're gonna start snowballing. This was really like a testing phase, but at the same time, it's gonna be the real phase and an extraordinary phase going forward. And the people that came in left. Sorry about that. It's my fault, man. Technical errors, technical whatever. But we will be doing YouTube lives. We'll be doing Instagram lives, and then Twitter too. I've never really done the Twitter, but people on Twitter going live, or they give you a whole.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I thought I saw something with Twitter Live. I don't know how that really
It's
worked, but
probably new, but we're gonna check it out.
you can check it out. You know what I'm saying? And then the people saying I need to do the Facebook. I don't got a Facebook. You know what I mean? But people saying the Facebook Live. I know, Anna, you do the Facebook. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So
I do Facebook
you know what I
Lives too.
mean? Yeah. So Facebook Live might be the thing too. So I might have to set up, but we'll just keep pushing it out. You know, this will be recorded. This will be put on my platforms. You know, and we just keep going at it, man. It's the live sessions. We talk about everything, anything, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? Economy, finance, business, from your perspective, from your eyes, because you know, you are the people, and the people rule. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? And any topics that y'all want to talk about too. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be about that. I mean, like the focus is on the economy, finance, and business. You know what I mean? Because that's the angle that we're coming from. But it's not limited to like, oh, we got to be like CNBC or Fox Business News, and you know, we got to have the suits, and we're top Fortune 500, or top Fortune 500 companies or whatever. Nah, we not on it like that, man. We on it like, you know, living in New York City, man, living in wherever state you live in, and the struggles, man. How you gonna spend money on the food for your kids? How you gonna pay the mortgage for your house? How you gonna pay the lease for the car? You know what I mean? So we talk it on a microscopic level, and then we talk about the macroscopic. So for everybody who's out there, you know, people that we know, we don't know, man, just forward this, you know, like, subscribe, you know how the YouTubers say, subscribe, like, comment,
like smash that like button,
smash
that notification bell,
smash that like button. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I gotta come up. I'm gonna maybe have Anna come up with some type of slogan or something like that.
Yes, all for it.
You know what I mean? Some song or something. But yeah, we definitely gonna be just using this to expand. You know, we are our own. You know, we're our own bosses, and you know, nobody control nobody, man. It's not what it's about. It's about excelling, uniting, and you know, reaching for the stars and the moon. Pop Smoke album. You know what I mean?
I love Pop Smoke. I'm sorry, but I cried so hard.
Yes, you know what I mean? Rest in peace to him. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to everybody. Rest in peace to all the people
who died in 2020.
Yeah, because... yeah, 2020, you know what I mean? 2019, 20.
His death broke my heart.
Yeah, it was sad, you know what I mean? The gun violence needs to end, man. You know what I'm saying? It just all over the country, all over the world, just needs to end. Violence needs to end. You know what I mean? We're not on that. We're not jacking that. And it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Sammy BE. You know what I mean? Anna Fakiri.
You stay messing up my last
name.
We
just gonna call you. She likes to be called Anna F, man. We're just gonna just keep it like that. You know what I mean? All right. My social media is Instagram, Twitter, EcoFire TV, ECOFIRE TV, and along with Anna F. You want to tell them what you're doing?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat at SourPatchKeedx3. That's SourPatchKeedx3. And also that's my name here on YouTube. So I'll be sure to give Sam the link and he could drop it for you down below.
All right, Anna F, Sammy BE. You know, we signing off on, you know, YouTube live sessions. Take care, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace.
God bless.